just want to say thanks to Zach, and don't forget to give him a follow at Zach_Goodall. You can find that in the show notes as well as a link to his work over at allgators.com. But last team here before we close it out for the week. Let's kick it all down to Columbia, South Carolina, where now we got the Gamecocks off and running for spring football. And, of course, everybody wants to know Spencer Rattler. That, hell, we even got video of him here. We'll flash it up here if you're watching on the YouTube, in action with the Gamecocks in that green no-contact jersey. But, that is certainly the big story with the South Carolina Gamecocks. Won 7 games last season with questionable, to call it the best at best, quarterback play. People wanted Marcus Satterfield, the offensive coordinator, fired, and I don't blame you. I mean, at times South Carolina was that pathetic on the offensive side of the ball, but you got more hope when you go back and watch that bowl game and what those coaches were able to scheme up, given some time, given some health at the quarterback position. Even though it was DeCarrion Joyner that was playing at that position after not playing it all season. Now we got ourselves an elite-type quarterback in the system. How does that raise the ceiling of the South Carolina Gamecocks? I mean, we're just going around the league and talking to all the potential, particularly in the SEC East, with all these damn quarterbacks, Hendon Hooker, Spencer Rattler, potentially Anthony Richardson, and this before we even get to the reigning national championship, Stetson Bennett. I mean, this is a loaded time for quarterbacks in the SEC. And let's not forget the guys down at Vanderbilt. I know the Commodores, not that great on the field, but arguably the 2 best players are the quarterbacks, Ken Seals and Mike Wright. So, we got some, and my God, I'm forgetting Will Levis here, who without him, there's no chance in hell Kentucky would have won 10 games last season. So where does Spencer Rattler fit in that pecking order? Right now, I'm putting him probably number 2 behind only Hendon Hooker, but he's certainly not a flawless prospect. He's not a finished product. And we got to see if Marcus Satterfield, with this level of a quarterback, can prove to be a more capable offensive coordinator. Because, for a minute there, it was looking like he may get fired in just year 1 under Shane Beamer. But, that is something that Shane Beamer was asked about repeatedly. Spencer Rattler, how is he adapting to being down there in Columbia, his first camp with the Gamecocks? Let's kick it over to Shane Beamer.
Speaking of that, Rattler out there, we only saw him for a little bit, but seemed to be having fun, getting along well with the guys. Can't be easy making that transition for culture, especially as a quarterback where there's kind of an element of expected leadership. You've been around him more. How have you seen how he's adapted quickly to the culture and to the guys around him?
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. And credit Spencer and credit the guys around him as well, because it's not an easy situation to come into, whether you're Spencer coming from Oklahoma and what he had done out there, or whether you were somebody that's the guys on the team had never heard of. It's not easy walking into a SEC football program in January and getting acclimated. But he's done a great job. Spencer's a great young man. He's really come in and just be himself and just work really, really hard. I think the guys around him respect that, and the players on our team that were here, have done a great job of welcoming Spencer to, and all the transfers, new arrivals, high school, everybody, to the program. And, at the end of the day, we all are on the same team, and we all want what's best for South Carolina. And whether it's Spencer or anybody else, it's important for all of our returning players to make those guys feel welcome. And both sides have done a great job of doing that, in my opinion.
And then one more item. I feel terrible for this guy because, and this one's for Cousin Shane. This is one of Cousin Shane's most hyped prospects the entire time we've been doing this podcast. But just when you see clips of MarShawn Lloyd coming into South Carolina, look like he's going to be the next Alvin Kamara. Of course, he has the season-ending injury, his first season on campus. Anytime I saw him play last year, it looked like he was still knocking the rust off. Still, who knows how he felt with the certainty of that knee and everything ready to go. I mean, I know he made his way back on the field, and he just didn't look like what we thought we were getting in his first year back from injury. And let's hope we can get him to that level in year 2, more comfortable with his knee, more strength to that knee. And according to Shane Beamer, this is a man on a mission. South Carolina has added talent and depth to this running back room. So it's not going to be the MarShawn Lloyd show necessarily, but that may be even perfect because you may want to not have this guy carry your offense. Hell, you got Spencer Rattler. You don't need him to carry it, but you don't need him to carry the rock 20, 25, 30 times a game. You've got many backs to do that, and you got to do that anyway in the SEC with all these monster defenses coming at you. So when all this hype with Spencer Rattler and the South Carolina offense, just keep it in the back of your mind. They may have one of the breakout stars, not only in the SEC, but the entire country, if MarShawn Lloyd is here and ready to play, and we're getting the 5-star we thought we were getting before he suffered that tough injury. Let's kick it over to Shane Beamer, who could not be higher on MarShawn Lloyd entering his second year in Shane Beamer's program.
Shane, we had a chance to speak with MarShawn Lloyd the other day, and he says that he's feeling better now than he was maybe 2 years ago when he arrived, and he's just excited. Didn't take part in spring ball, I think, his freshman year, so he's just excited to get back on the field. How have you seen him grow since you first arrived here and got to know him as he's continued to battle back and try to get back mentally, not just physically, from that ACL injury?
Yeah, no, he's been great, and MarShawn is like so driven. You guys have been around him. I mean, he is on a mission and very driven to be great at everything that he does. And I want him to enjoy it and have fun and all that as well along the way and enjoy the process. But he's on a mission. That's the best thing I can say. And people forget he's still young and he hasn't played a lot of football because, he got here in 2020 and had the knee injury and then was limited last spring and really couldn't do much. So last season was his first year of playing, and who knows if he was ever really 100% just coming off that injury. So, now that he's getting a ton of reps and whatnot, I think he realizes the time is now, and it's a great opportunity for him. And he's been a great leader. He's got some good players that we've around him at that running back position. We've elevated the competition to try and make that whole room better, and he's done a great job of handling his business in the weight room, academically, and then out there on the field today.
That's going to do it not only for this episode of the show, but this week. I'm taking the rest of the time off. I'm going to watch the NCAA tournament. I'm going to drink many, many, many beers, and I'll be tweeting out all kinds of nonsense, I'm sure. But, hey, I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all the guests we've had this week. We've had 3 guests this week. Been a loaded week going around the league. And by this time next week, we're going to have even more SEC teams kicking spring off. So, hey, keep coming back. The content's going to keep coming. And, hell, we may even talk a couple of minutes of basketball because who knows what's going to happen this weekend. It's one of the best sports times of the year, even if you're not a huge college basketball fan like me. I'll admit it, I'm a bandwagon NCAA tournament watching guy, but hey, I soak it up because we got about 60, 70 games here in the next couple of days. So enjoy it. Be careful out there. Happy St. Patty's Day, late one to all you out there, but enjoy the games, and we'll catch you on the next one.